After the show was announced way back, I was immediately hyped. From the head writer of The Last Airbender and another mystical world for us to dive into. It was absolutely great. And let me just say, this did not disappoint. Netflix released all 9 episodes all at once about a month or two ago. And for once, I actually didn't binge them all, and I took my sweet time watching all 9. I went in with a very open mind because I wasn't really sure what to expect. And I was met with some great characters, a great story, and a beautiful environment. So in today's video, I just wanted to go over why I loved Season 1 and why I am super excited for Season 2. Warning, there will be some spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the show, I recommend going to watch that before you watch this video. Or you can just keep watching. As most shows do, the first episode starts slow. But not too slow. Unlike The Last Airbender, the Dragon Prince isn't afraid to let us dip our toes into the deep end and experience some of the grit of the story. Instead of the much more lighthearted and less intense stuff we usually see in first episodes. This I very much liked. With such a short season of only 9 episodes, I think it was super important for them to break us into the story early to move on to the more juicy parts. But at the same time, easing us into the world. It is a completely brand new show after all, with a completely brand new environment. And I think they did this perfectly. Similar to The Last Airbender, we get a viewpoint from both sides of the story. From the villains, and soon-to-be hero, and the heroes themselves. On top of this, the drawing style is incredible, and it's pretty much unlike anything I've seen in the last couple years. The colors really pop, and the background remains in the background, and the foreground is at center stage. This is something I really, really love. It gives the show that real-life feel, while also staying true to its animation. What is my one gripe though, is that on some occasions, the reduced frame rate they've employed to resemble some animes and traditional 2D cartoons almost, and I say almost, takes away from the experience. But not fully. It's a little bit of a distraction, but like that notch on your phone, you quickly get used to it and then get to enjoy the rest of the show in all of its glory. The premise of the show is great. It is hard to come up with a new world and a new reality with a backstory and characters that have already cemented their place in the world, and then move forward from there. Many shows do this as they go. A prime example of this is Adventure Time. They built the world around the premise that had been set in the early seasons. Whereas here, we have a premise, we have a backstory, and we have a history to the land. And our world, our characters, and our story continues and flows from here. It's quite incredible how they pull it off, and it's definitely one of my favorite parts of the show. Now, onto the part of the show that was a little bit weaker than the other parts, and this is characters. Now I have to say, some of the characters in the show are just not likable. And I know saying this makes it seem like the show might not be as good because character is such an important part of a show. But hear me out. All shows give you characters to love and become attached to. I'm sure for every show you've seen, you have one or maybe multiple favorite characters. All characters interact with one another to create a cohesive and interesting story. Well, you still have this in The Dragon Prince. There are some great characters for you to become attached to, and the interactions between characters are interesting and engaging. So the problem isn't with the characters as a whole, it's just a few characters. For me personally, Ezrin is just not likable. Even after the last episode, he seems out of place, childish, and like he's weighing them down. It almost just doesn't fit with the personality of the other two. Callum is better on the other hand, but it did take me a little bit to get used to him, About the second episode in, he had developed enough to make him a strong character. And Soren, he is just annoying. His personality seems very out of place. In an environment like this and in a world like this, the way he's acting just doesn't really fit. So I hope that in the second season they add some of these improvements to the personalities of these main characters, and to some of the minor characters in the show. Overall, I think Dragon Prince is an amazing show. The first 9 episodes draw you in and give us just enough information for us to keep asking questions and crave a Season 2. Season 2 releases in 2019, just a few months away, and I hope you're just as excited as I am. Make sure to let me know down below what your favorite part of the show is. Stay tuned for everything animated, and until next time.
I was sober for an hour, but I'm rolling off a bean now. The drugs, they give me confidence, I'm saying what I mean now. The Xannies help me slow up, the leaning help me speed down. Ballin', yeah, I'm ballin', I'm gon' hit it if she beat now. Callin', yeah, she callin', your bitch got me on the speed down. Down through the racks, I look at faces, don't see no smiles. It's grimy in the 6, who can I trust, I never know.